What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. It's full-time reaction to Celtic 1, Club Brugge 1 here at Celtic Park. I've got Callum and Darren with me to go over it. Callum, that was a tough, tense 90 minutes. We come out with a point. Would you make it?
Aye, it's tough, and you'll get those games in Europe from time to time. Probably the most positive that I can come out with is that we've not lost the game, because at certain points, probably majority, I felt like it was slipping away. Bruges were good to a certain extent. I thought up front they were really poor. They've not really tested Schmeichel, but then again, we didn't really test Mignolet a lot. So it was more of a game where both clubs felt each other out in that way of who can dominate the ball. It was a game of two halves, I'd probably say, because when I look at the stats, and I'm not a massive stat person, but I think we had 62 possession of the ball overall, and that tells you how more on front foot we were in the second half. But they battered us first half. They really battered us, and we just couldn't get out. I thought we really struggled because the atmosphere was really good at the start, and then the game just slipped away because Bruges were clever. They came here, they had a plan to kind of stifle the atmosphere and then get on the ball. The big boy in midfield, I think number 5. Oh, brilliant! It's who we are crying for since Wanyama. Onyedika is just a brilliant. Hatate tried to do that dummy that he does all the time to drop the shoulder and go there and drag the ball with him. The boy went, "Shut up, you man! Give me it." This is a big level, mate. Get out and destroy them all game. And fair play to Bruges because they pressed us. Talk about the atmosphere and one of the best in Europe. They don't care. They came here and went, "Chink, you're good. We'll outplay you," and they did. They outplayed us for most of that first half. Let's be fair. Like, we didn't test Mignolet, I don't think, at all in the first half. We'll get on to the goal that somehow we scored. Like, Darren's probably better to talk about it than I am because I sit at the opposite end and I've not seen it too well.
You're just sitting on the fence, aren't you?
Darren, I thought Bruce started the game well. Obviously, they got a foot in the ball, knocked it about nicely, spooked us a wee bit. I think even when we did have the ball, their shape was really good. We couldn't find any passes to really build any attacks. We just looked a bit nervy across the pitch, and then of course it results in that first goal where Carter-Vickers just slots it into the bottom corner. What was your view of it?
Well, just before the goal, like you did talk about, I think we won there. It felt like we just kind of lacked confidence. I don't know if it was just, like you says, there was a wee kind of sketchy start, and it seemed to affect us. I felt like the atmosphere, obviously, before kick-off was always good, you know, the anthem and you never walk alone and stuff. But I felt after a couple of minutes, it just felt flat. You said to me just before we started it felt like an away game. It kind of did, because there was no atmosphere. It felt like a Saturday afternoon game against Ross County rather than a Champions League game. And it did. It gave Bruges confidence, and it kind of took some of your confidence away from us. Yeah. There was instances in that first half where the right winger, had a 60-yard run at Greg Taylor, and Maeda's behind him, and Greg Taylor's just standing off, and by that point, by the time Greg Taylor actually stands his ground, he's at the edge of the box and end up getting the corner from it. But the goal, it just kind of sums up the first half, like just lack of coordination, lack of confidence. Obviously, I felt like Schmeichel's came out wide to receive the ball, and he's gave it to Johnson, and I'll need to see it back, obviously, but
Johnson's gave it into Kuhn.
Right.
Kuhn's first touch is back because there's nothing on.
Aye. Whatever way you look at it, Carter-Vickers has played a blind pass back, and he doesn't know that Schmeichel's not on his goal line. And aye, it's not a type of goal you want to concede at any level, never mind in the Champions League. You know, I'm sure like it'll be clipped on social media and stuff, and people have a good laugh at it. And look, sometimes things like that happen. It's happened to better teams than us, but it just kind of felt like, you know, we done not bad to not concede because we weren't playing well. We limited Bruges to not many chances, to be fair. I don't remember them actually having that many good chances in the first half, and then just to concede it, we're an own goal at it was just like a bit of kicking the stones, and then we're basically playing comeback for that. You seen after the goal as well, Schmeichel, this is what I really like about Schmeichel, took leadership, got everybody in, had a word with him, and I don't really say we improved much for there, but it was just kind of a kick, using his experience.
We did find a feet a wee bit after the goal.
We settled more well. I don't think we improved, we settled. And that's the kind of leadership you're looking for someone like Kasper Schmeichel. See us to half time, basically. Even getting into the second half, I thought the first 10 minutes of the second half was more of the same in the first half, very frustrating. Then slowly we start working our way in, we get the goal, it gives us confidence, gets the crowd on my back, and you know, you're kind of crying out for a chance. to nick a game. I didn't really see it on for any team. It just felt like it was always going to be a draw. You never had that feeling that somebody was going to nick it. Obviously the offside goal, but other than that, there was very few moments to get you off your seat.
Aye. Callum, I think after the goal we did settle down a wee bit just before half time, and we needed to find our feet in the game, because although Bruges weren't creating much, they were bossing it, and I think, as obviously Darren says, they came out and they had the big chance. First 5 minutes, I think first 2 minutes of the second half actually, and Schmeichel needs to produce a brilliant save. You're right behind us.
Honestly, I've not seen any of the other games, and I'll call it, that's probably the best save in Europe tonight. I've not seen any other games, but I'm that confident. He's got no right to save it, and the Bruges players, go watch it when you go home, right? Because I just look, everyone around me is going mental as if we've scored the goal because of how good a save it is. But I'm just standing there and almost looking, and the Bruges players have got their mouths, just like their hands over the mouth, like, how's he done that? And the Bruges fans were giving Schmeichel a bit tight because he was at Anderlecht, obviously the rival, but they actually applauded him, of going, yeah, top keeper, you've made an outstanding save. So that's why he was brought in. People question of his age, and why we brought him in. He's a bit slow, and maybe for the goal, I don't know, but maybe he can do better. I don't know if it's just, or if it's too much power on it for him.
Goal.
No, the Carter-Vickers goal. I don't know if he can maybe chase it. I'm not sure. I can't really see it for me, right? So he's probably not. But on that save, really good save. And Dan talks about it there, is that when he gets everybody into the middle, it's a real leadership. I actually felt like it was like a documentary that we're about to see, like on Prime or something, like what's happened in that little huddle that he's had. But it shows the experience there. Go, look, we've not had the best of starts. Calm down, because people like Hatate and Engels were just like awful, and I don't want to sound as if I'm giving them absolute stick, because tonight we've shown a different side, that even when we haven't played well, we've still rescued something of this game. We've not just gave it away and felt sorry for ourselves. Last year, or maybe under Andrew, maybe we did go, we couldn't get that. I almost felt like Bodo Glimt felt a bit like that. When Bodo Glimt came, we were really shocked how good they were on the ball, but we couldn't respond. Tonight we responded in a different manner, and again, both teams probably didn't deserve it. It's probably fair. In the last 20 minutes, both teams went, I'm happy with a point each. Leaves them on 7, leaves on us on 8. So I think both teams are probably happy.
Darren, we get level through a brilliant Daizen Maeda goal. That's probably up there with the best goals he's scored technically for us. I mean, it's out of nothing. I mean, the angle's unbelievable, and he's bent it in manually into the far corner. It's a great goal. I think we needed changes in the game. Obviously, it's only 55 minutes. That's earlier than Brendan Rodgers usually waits to make some changes. Valle came on to good effect. Bernardo came on to replace Engels to good effect. I think that was the one before the game people were crying out for. I think you can't really argue that Bernardo's been putting up better performances than Engels, and I think he did that again tonight.
Aye, only Daizen Maeda could score a belt and still make it look like a slide tackle. It's just typical of him. But for me, I was screaming at half time that Engels, and probably everybody inside the stadium was saying it, he's not the races today. Not even just on the ball, I thought off the ball, he just didn't look like he knew what his job was. He was miles off it. I was just saying to Stuart there before we came on that there was a moment where Bruges had a throw in deep in their own half, and McGregor and Hatate were pushing up, marking their men, and Engels was miles over the other side, basically touching Nicholas Kuhn, who's your right winger. He's almost at the byline as well, and you're thinking, look at the pitch from a wide view, and you've got that huge gap in there in the centre of the park where there's no midfielders, and if Bruges can play out that press, they have one pass and they're in breaking the lines one-on-one, not one-on-one, but in attacking the defence. And I felt they'd done that quite a few times in the first half. 1 or 2 passes from their goalkeeper, and it felt like they broke the lines, and that's probably because Arne Engels and Hatate just won at the races tonight. It felt like they just won, they communicating well with each other, they didn't know what their jobs was. And for me, see when the likes of Hatate and Maeda are playing with Japan, Rodgers has to manage them better. They look shattered tonight. See, even that disallowed goal right before that, Hatate plays the worst pass I've ever seen. Like, just so predictable. He opens his body up, he takes an eternity to eventually pass it, and the Bruges guy just goes, give me that. And then, obviously, luckily the goal gets disallowed, but must be just so taxing on their bodies for me, because Maeda, obviously, we saw against Leipzig, he just ran for 90 minutes straight, and he could have done it for another 90 minutes, but I seen it tonight, it just kind of looked not half a yard off it, but not up to his standards. Even his goal, I think he actually doesn't mean to take that touch inside. It's almost like the ball kind of gets stuck under his feet, and then he goes, oh wait, I've cut in on my right foot, I'm just going to have a shot / slide tackle. And brilliant finish, but obviously typical Daizen Maeda. Doesn't he beat his goal against Hibs? I think that's his most technical goal that he scored for us. That was a belter.
Aye,
but
to be fair, I remember that one.
Aye, Daizen Maeda.
He's an enigma, isn't he? He's a total enigma. Callum, we did have much more of the ball in the second half. I think you touched on it earlier, we just couldn't really carve out many clear-cut chances. I think Hatate just before the goal had a drive for the edge of the box. Left foot. Bernardo has one where he worked space on the edge of the box, and I actually think he could have done better with the shot that he had. He just dragged it wide. But it wasn't like we got to the byline and created many clear-cut chances in that second half, was it?
No, and Dan covered a lot of points there. And the way me and Stu were talking about it at half-time, for me, they were getting out so easily because the two teams played technically two different ways. For me, Bruges played on man, man-marked, so wherever Celtic went, they went. Where Celtic played in zones, so it was almost like, I can't go in that zone, I'm not allowed in that zone, so you need to get me the ball, and then that's how they were turning the ball over and just getting at us the full half. Second half, we went man for man. You looked at the second half, McGregor was so far up on him where he was sitting, so they're the two differences. So credit to Rodgers that he's seen it, he's changed it, because I was actually looking for Bernardo to come on at half-time, but tactically he's changed it because the game was really good actually, if you're looking at it from a technical point.
Very tactical.
The two of them were trying to suss each other out, and we got, that's why I said earlier on that it's a game of two halves, because Brendan Rodgers got beat in the first half but he won the second half. And that, so from a tactical point, it was really good to see us change that, because I thought the zone was just hurting us. We weren't getting into the right areas, and we were the gaps that were allowed one pass, as you say, Darren, and then Bruges were in. They were almost running at a back four, and our three midfielders weren't anywhere. So they were like, they didn't either know to go or to stay. They were getting caught, and at this level, that's when you'll get punished. Taylor should have get punished just before he came off, because I do not know what he's doing. And in the Leipzig game, if you watch it back, I know we've won, but at one point he's trying to fix his hair as he's getting lined up, right, getting somebody taking him on. This one that he doesn't even check his shoulder. The ball's far out, up in Johnston's side. The ball gets whipped in. It just doesn't look. He should look here and just stays. And then the boy, a really good team punish you. That's 2-0 at that point, and they take the game away from you. A really good team. Bruges weren't a really good team tonight, and we got away with that. And as soon as Taylor comes off, Alex Vai, what a breath of fresh air.
He carries the ball much better, doesn't he?
So good, because look, Taylor gets into good positions, right? We'll talk. He gets into really good position, but every time he gets into position, trust that you have it.
Played more centre mid tonight.
Aye, but centre mid that couldn't pass the ball forward.
Especially when you've got an overload of Bruges players in the middle.
Aye, he kept passing the ball.
Just takes an option away for the wide area.
Backwards.
Puts Maeda out there on his own.
Aye, and he Carter-Vickers into trusting. You're going, well, you're going to need to take the ball eventually and change it, because Bruges know what you're going to do, so they're not going to press you. He had times in there where he could actually turn and then play it out, and he's usually sometimes good at that. Vai comes on, brilliant. We get the goal because he overlaps. I can't remember what happens, maybe a deflection or something. It comes back to him, plays the ball to Maeda, and again we touch about the goal. Brilliant goal. But Vai gives a real energy. He get up and down that side, and if Taylor wants to get a new contract, he needs to be putting in performances like that. And I'm not digging him out, because he's been good, like for the goal, the second goal against Leipzig. So he's been good in spells. He gets up the pitch. Tonight I thought he was miles off it, and he was the first one to come off. So I majorly come off. To brighten it up a wee bit, I'll give you a quiz question, right? Because we didn't do very good, Darren, right? So I'll give you this one, right? The goal that we conceded tonight, who was the last person that scored a goal like that for Celtic?
For Celtic? What do you mean? Like,
so we scored our own goal exactly like it. Who's the last player? Think about it and tell me at the end, right?
Recently.
You can get it, right?
Recently?
We'll
come back.
In the last 20 years.
Right, okay, I'm not going to get that.
Darren, I think everybody had a bit of an off night, and there wasn't many top performers. Kuhn has been excellent. He's almost scored or assisted every week for about the last 3 months. He worked hard tonight, but just didn't really have that same quality. We've touched on a few of the boys that were off it. We do come out with a point. We move on to 8. We're still sitting in a good position. We've still only lost one game this season in Dortmund. So how do you assess it? All been said and done tonight.
Overall, a point does benefit us. If you look at our next 2 games, Zagreb and Young Boys, realistically talking 4 maybe max points. If we can get a result in Zagreb, obviously Young Boys are sitting on 0 points and get thumped 6-1 off Atalanta. So I'm feeling fairly confident about that. But it does put us in a good place. I would have been much happier if we won the night. But you take points in the Champions League. You understand that if you don't play at your best, then a win is very unlikely. Probably would have said at half time that I would have taken a draw. Like it says, 8 points. I've not seen the other results tonight, so I don't know exactly where we stood in the table. Probably around about 15 to 18, roughly around about there, so I'm not sure. But 3 games to go. I think we're level on points with Man City, so happy, yeah, general.
Callum, what about you? Are you happy with a point after seeing how that
Aye,
played out?
like after 90 minutes, you're kicking chairs, you're going, God's sake, man, just get the game won. But taking your head away from it and actually evaluating it, it's very good. Last year, at this point, we had 1 point after 5 games. We had 1 point and we beat Feyenoord to win on the 6th game. We finished on 4 points, so we've actually doubled our points with 1 less game to play. Everybody keeps talking about we'll get more games and 2 extra games, but we've actually got 8 points in 5 games. So if you're talking about an improvement from where we were to where we are now, massive improvement. Look, you can't win them all, but guess what? We've no lost them all. As you touched on, we've lost 1 game, and when I come out of that, I actually think we've actually been really good. We've been worth our money, in all fairness. And but I don't think Celtic are the team right now with the quality we've got to win all 4 games. I think we've got no right to win all 4 games at home. I know that's a thing that we say we must win our 4 games to give us a chance.
If you look at where we've come from the last few years with the form and the competition at home.
Aye, exactly. And again, tonight was more about not losing. At one point, I felt like, can we get back into the game? We did. And now it was about, for me, it was about rather not going on to win it. Maybe be a bit pessimistic, maybe, and I might get battered for it. But I think just don't lose it. It's a game where you don't want to lose it. Talk about Zagreb, that'll be tough. Really tough. I think they lost 2-0 tonight against Dortmund at home, but I think that'll be a really tough game. Because again, it depends what Celtic turn up, especially me and you spoke about it. That could be a 4-0 Zagreb or a 4-0 Celtic. We just don't know how it's
Celtic or Bruce Celtic.
You just don't know how it's going, so that'll be tough. Young boys is the carrot. That's where it dangles, and you go, come on, let's battle them 5 or 6. And just quickly, I actually thought about that last night. Is everybody slagged us for Bratislava, going, it's a pub team, amateur. Yeah, we're the only one to take 5 off them. They've played Man City, they've played AC Milan. They've not took 5, but we have. And then Dortmund, we got a right lesson. But I mean, they're Champions League finalists. Did Rodgers talk about it in his press conference that I think that's our 20th game this season, 21st game this season? We've lost 1. It's the Champions League finalist. So when I come away from it and I evaluate it with my head actually on rather than my heart, it's a good point to and I'll take it.
We're doing alright. You going to tell us who the own goal is?
Do you know? No.
Can you think?
Don't you wish you? Chaduri.
So it was. So
Remember, he pokes it in against Fraser Foster.
Against Rain.
He kicks in there. So
Rain.
he'll be happy and somewhere in Korea probably. He'll be buzzing that it's not him anymore.
There you go, folks. That's it. Sharing the spoils at Celtic Park tonight. Like the video, give us your own thoughts on the game below, and we will see you for the build up to that game against Ross County and at the weekend. Cheers.